Go, keep talk.
Okay, we're back from our commercial break, and speaking of new additions, first of all three of us had new additions in the off season. I had a son.
Recount the last 3 months.
I had a son, Daniel, a couple of months ago. Norman, you and your lovely wife had your first baby.
Yep, baby girl.
Baby girl, Paulette.
Yes.
And Michael, you had your first daughter after 2 sons.
Yeah, Lorraine. Yeah,
Lorraine. And so Norman, tell us the first-time father. What's it like? Are you hands-on? Are you hands-on diapers and feeding?
I'm hands-on with everything. Up in the middle of the night, I'm able to do much better scouting because I'm up in the middle of the night. I have the DirecTV. I'm watching softball games in China and across the globe, trying to find more talent for the league. So it's definitely a good thing.
All right, that's good. And Michael, now that you're a father of a daughter, I've been meaning to ask you this question now. Let's turn the clock ahead to 2028, let's say. Your daughter Lorraine's going to be 16, starting to date. What happens now when Sammy Sutton Jr. comes to the door?
The shotgun comes out.
Or maybe even Sammy Sutton himself. And
Well,
what
first of all,
kind of reaction is he going to get at the door there?
Well, if it's Sammy Sutton Jr., I'm gonna press the button. I'm starting to build this weapon to wipe out the whole family. If it's Sammy Sutton Sr., I'm not gonna do anything because I can only imagine he's just coming to ask her how to do his toenails or something like that. You know, so I'm not
still be
worried.
available in 2028, so we have to see how that goes.
Yeah, maybe Red'll, wheel him over in a little cart or something.
All right, so we had a busy offseason. Our former colleague, Douglas Dweck, became a grandfather this past week. So a lot of things happening, a lot of additions happening in the YNSL this offseason. By the way, we are going to be opening up our phone lines. 732-5YMSL55. Once again, 732-5YMSL55. And right now, I think what we want to do is sort of analyze each team's strengths and weaknesses. And now, since we have Mr. Saban here sitting in our studios, why don't we start with your team? And I'm going to start off right off the bat. First of all, let me ask you, you ended up in a pure luck of the draw, ending up with the first pick in the draft. Was it any hesitation at all to picking Allie?
I'm not going to say there was real hesitation. I mean, first of all, I got very lucky getting the first pick. I mean, I think it's great to just have that flexibility. It does kind of hurt having to wait 18 picks or whatever it is to get the next pick. Luckily, there was a couple first rounders slotted in. But you know what? I did give it a lot of thought. I mean, Mo Shama would be a great pick. We've had tremendous success together playing in night leagues and tournaments. And I thought about it. We have never played together in this league in the 20 years that we're playing about. So I did think about it, but Allie happened to reach out to me a couple weeks before you even let everyone know who the captains were. And he was kind of like, get in touch with Bobby and, get in there as a captain and try to get me even, like we didn't even think about the first pick. Right. He was just like, whatever pick you get, try to trade up to get me. And, you know what? Luckily enough, I became captain, and I got the first pick, so here we are.
Right, and I look at your team. Your lineup is absolutely scary. Really, stacked with Allie, yourself, Eddie Hakeem, Jared, and Max, and Maurice Sassany's a hitter, and Mars Harari, I think, is a big steal at third base, and Douglas Dweck, a great hitter in his own right. So I think your lineup is obviously very good. The big question mark is obviously going to be pitching.
Now, Douglas Dweck was actually drafted, I think, in the 5th round as a pitcher in the draft room at the secure location, undisclosed location. He was running around saying he's a pitcher, and Saban Sanity here announced that Douglas is going to be his pitcher. I've heard that after seeing him scrimmage that Saban and Allie were throwing a fit that this guy can't pitch. And therefore, thank God they drafted Boabe, as they thought was going to be their backup pitcher. Who is your starting pitcher on opening day?
Let me just say this. Let me backtrack a week before the draft, the actual Sunday draft, after we got the first 2 picks out of the way.
Right.
There was a certain player that I actually reached out to. I did not think I was going to get him, having to wait to the 4th and 5th round to get a pick. And I said, I really want this guy. And lo and behold, draft day comes. My picks come up at 4th and 5th round. I had back-to-back picks, and this guy was there, and I was actually conned not to take him, but to go with Douglas as a pitcher.
Wow.
I'm not going to second guess myself, but you want to know something? This guy, Douglas, Grandpa Dweck over here, better come through this year. Well, that's all I'm saying, because you know what?
Is he pitching?
As of right now, I do not see him pitching. Not opening week. I'm going to give the nod to Boabe, and I'm lucky that I got him, because you want to know something? I was planning on grabbing Boabe in the 7th round as a pitcher.
Right.
And he was around 10th, 11th round. And everybody was against me. Max, Allie, don't take him. You don't need him. I said, we don't really know what Douglas is going to bring. So I grabbed him. Right. I feel lucky that I have him.
Yeah.
Boabe was actually good last year. Douglas, another problem I had with that particular pick was because your first baseman, the only position Douglas can play if he's not a DH, is first base. And then you have Eddie Hakeem already drafted over there. He usually is a DH. I guess he's going to play short center. I just feel like this team, with their drafting, went offense, offense, offense. No pitching really till later, Joey Boabe, because is Douglas. Did anyone really think Douglas is going to be a pitcher all of a sudden?
Well, Norm, the guy called up and he said that he's only coming back into the league if he could pitch on my team. And I told him, you call Allie and sell him on the idea. And before Allie and I could even discuss it, I had Max Sutton calling me, swearing up and down that the guy was a great pitcher. Not saying he's going to be a Yedid or an Azer or anything like that,
right,
but that he's never going to walk guys.
Okay.
But after what I saw, forget walking
guys. Well, I think
guys.
you made a great pick with Boabe in his short time last year. He filled in and pitched pretty admirably, and he pitched in the Egyptian League. So it's a good backup, and if he works out, he never really had a full-time job, so I think he could be a good pickup.
Also, the other question about the draft was that Big Sawley was really upset. He thought he was going to be taken by you, if available, at your pick, and you went with Max at shortstop. And Big Sawley said how he won 3 Gold Gloves in 3 different positions. He's healthy now. He's this, he's that. He's friends with you and Allie. And you went with Max Sutton at shortstop. Do you have any regrets about that pick, or you feel good?
Look, I love Sawley. He's one of my best friends, and in any other year, I probably would have taken him. But the guy had off-season surgery on his throwing wrist. God knows what. I mean, I'm sure he's going to be okay, but I needed a shortstop. And yes, I would have loved to have his bat and glove in my lineup, but I think I made the right pick for now. And
I think you made a great pick in that situation, because you didn't have a 3rd round pick, and I don't know if you would have got a shortstop in the next round. So I think you had to go with the safe pick. Max is very good at running the whole infield, taking charge. And I think your team needs that after last year's debacle.
Well, yeah, last year I kind of got stuck with a young rookie type shortstop that just didn't pan out, and I was not willing to take that chance at that position again. So
we just got a tweet from Victor in New Jersey, who says, "What is the difference? What do Tim Tebow and Douglas Dweck have in common?"
Backups, right?
No. They are both religious and can throw. Very good for that's Victor from New Jersey. Has no confidence, obviously, in
Victor from Douglas's kitchen.
no confidence in his ability. But obviously, your big team's question mark is definitely going to be pitching. I think your lineup is great. Your defense is solid.
I don't know if the defense is so solid.
Solid is not great.
I don't love Max at shortstop, tell you the truth.
No, I don't think
he's a great shortstop.
No, but he doesn't.
I think he's a great third baseman. I don't know if he has the speed for a shortstop. No, it's a much more range.
I'll tell you what Max does. He makes every single play routine, and he's not going to make the fancy ones in the hole. But you want the routine plays to be made.
Look, all I could say is the flexibility I have with Ali. If worse comes to worse, I could put Jared in center because he's a center fielder and play around with the corners and then move Ali and Mac. I have a lot of flexibility. Any other pick I would have made, I probably would not be able to even mention that.
Right.
This is a very volatile team. We will see how this plays out.
You know what? I don't think it is. I don't know why every year you think my team is the one that's going to go berserk. I mean,
last year it did go berserk.
With you and Ali, it's a pretty good head start, but.
Last year your team did explode, led by Watch Out and this and that, and Moses.
Okay, fine. I mean, look, there comes a time where guys like that, they hit their peak 70, 80 years ago. They gotta hang it up. I mean, I was not willing to get stuck with that. So I took two guys at the pitching position to make sure that I was buffered.
I think you made a great pick with Jared Schulman. He went fairly late this year, 5th, 6th round for whatever reason. And Maurice Sasson, an up-and-coming second-year player, is another solid outfielder also. And even Bub could play the outfield. So I think you're pretty good. Again, it's going to come down to Douglas and Bawabe, how that works out, and hopefully you can find. I find Saban Sanity is going to be in the upper half of the league.
Yeah, they have to be. Just with that lineup alone is insane. You can't pitch around Saban, Eddie Hakeem, Ali, Douglas. It's Max. All these guys. And Jared. It's an insane lineup.
Okay, speaking of insane.
Leads us to insane.
And look out for my man Morris Harari.
Yeah,
he's going to be solid. Very good line drive type hitter.
And a good fielder.
And lefty, and I think we got some good
All right, insane. Like, who would have thought for the 3rd year in a row, Mo Shama and Jack Jamal are going to be paired up once again?
Extremely boring. I said it at draft day. The same team name, the same team.
The nucleus is the same.
Oh my God. This team, by the way, lost 6 games in a row last year. Felt the need to bring everybody back that they could. So I don't know why. I don't know why they melted down towards the end of the year and they wanted to bring everyone back again.
Well, I'll tell you why. I think Leo Casson is an up-and-coming star in the league, and he's gotten much better as a pitcher for the 2nd year.
I agree. Just from seeing him in the few practices we had, the guy grew a foot, put on 30 pounds, and he's actually throwing pretty hard.
He throws hard. He fields well. He's actually a pretty decent hitter. Now you have your nucleus. Their infield is incredible. I think you have Stephen Matesh at first, Lee Zakari at second, Mo Shama and Jack Jamal in the infield, and Michael Stanley Rishti at short center. You have the outfield of Sonny and up-and-coming star Jake Dweck, Abe's brother. Has a very bright future. So he's could be the wild card.
He's a rookie. A few people told me that was the steal of the draft. I don't know how everyone knows, but they said it was a steal of the draft. He dropped. Yeah. I guess because he's a rookie, no one wanted to take a chance, so no one knew. But the infield defense is the best on an infield that we've seen in a long time.
Right.
You got a Gold Glove at every position. You have the leader for Gold Glove at every position. The favorite for Gold Glove. Big Soli was most upset at this team because he's playing second base, and he says he's as good of a defensive player as Lee and bats 300-400 points higher than Lee. So Big Soli, with all his gripes, was most upset at the insane organization, but perhaps they felt that Big Soli's makeup didn't go well with the insane.
I can't have any qualms about Lee Zakari, that pick. I mean, he's a bona fide all-star second baseman, so that pick. I see this team also being very solid. Their outfield, I don't know how much range they're going to have, but Eli had it in right, and Sonny very solid center, but you know it depends a lot on.
Sonny
Jake
covers a lot of ground in center. I played with him last year. He's very fast and doesn't make any mistakes.
Yeah.
Doesn't he covers a lot of ground. And Jake Dweck supposedly is supposed to play solid left field.
Yeah, so
I think that D is very strong.
Oh,
Leo
that's
Casson, I haven't seen him. You guys are
he's
saying
good.
he's going to
very
be
good.
great this year, so we'll see. I was not impressed with him last year.
I disagree. I think he was good. I think they didn't score in certain times. Their offense went south in the second half of the year. But I don't think it was anything to do with the pitching. So
no, I don't think it's his fault. But I don't think he did anything that was so great
Right.
that But we'll see.
But again, this is a year also where you're a little weak in the pitching with no A's or no Yedid. So maybe it's good enough. Once again, the number is 7325-YMSL55 or 732-596-7525. Okay, so now the next team. This is a team I've been looking forward to analyzing. Dallas 2. And anybody who knows about Dallas 1, a lot of our viewers weren't even born or players in the league. Dallas was a team in 1981 that won a championship. Basically with some of the same cast of characters that are in Dallas 2. And to say that this team is a veteran is an understatement. 9 out of the 12 guys are collecting Social Security benefits on this team.
It's amazing that Dallas is actually coming back this year, and this is when this team is coming back.
I mean, this team is so old that Dash is the youngest guy on the team. But the big story of this team is
Is Sammy Insane son.
that's another story. The big story of this team is the return of Jack Haddad after a 19-year hiatus from Deal Softball League, first ballot Hall of Famer, one of the best players that ever suited up. Coming in with his son, Charles Haddad, very high pick, center fielder, incredible athlete. So Nathan's the captain of this team. Very, very interesting team. And to top it off with all this veteran, you have Red Ness.
Yes.
Sure.
I couldn't believe that Red dropped to like the 11th round of the draft this year. Maybe even 10th or 11th round of the draft. I don't know, that people were taking chances on totally unproven pitchers over your boy Red over here, and I couldn't believe that he dropped so much. It's not like he's a horrible pitcher, can't win.
It's just unbelievable because he's almost a ticket to the second round of the playoffs, and he just doesn't get any respect.
When Red was picked, actually the Minnesota Twins had the pick. They handed the pick without any trade to Dallas. And Dallas took Red, and then the Minnesota Twins drafted after them for some reason.
Right.
I don't know what was going on. Red and Moses just kept on dropping. Boabe was taken before him. Mikey Shalom. Pitcher Douglas Dweck way before them.
Well, I
All
think
these
what you're finding now is captains and teams want pitchers that can field. I mean,
it's,
anything going back up the middle with these guys is off their leg into the right field corner and out of bounds. Okay, and also the big question mark I feel in this team, which I think Nathan didn't address at the draft, was the third baseman. He had A.B. Dweck, and he made a trade after the draft for David Rishti. But right now he's going with Sammy Insane Sutton at third base. So, and with Red pitching, it's a big risk you're taking over there. And we got a first call coming in. Sammy, you're on the air.
How are you?
Good. Who's this?
Sam Sutton, Insane. How you doing?
Oh, Sam Sutton from Dallas. We were just talking about you, Sam.
starting third baseman from Dallas.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Say hi to your former friend Michael Saban Solomon.
Hi, Michael. Congratulations on being a captain.
Thank you, Sam. How are you?
Good, buddy. Thank you. How things good? Happy holidays to you and your
Whoa,
family.
a very mellow Insane Sutton today.
Yeah, Sam.
Preseason form, not in midseason form yet.
Wow, not the usual Sam.
Me and the other Sammy son did a flip-flop. I'm going to be a little more mellow this year.
Yeah, you getting all that red hair?
Well, first of all, Sammy, congratulations are in order. This is the first time since 2006 you weren't drafted in the 12th round. So I'm sure you're happy about that.
Did I go higher?
Slightly.
I went in the 13th, or is there only 12 guys on the team?
12 guys on the team. But in all seriousness, I'm hearing reports out of our camps that you are really focused this year, and rumor has it you hired Jody LeBeau as batting coach. Is any truth to that rumor?
I've been 4 times. I've been going again Thursday, and I'm ready. I'm ready for opening day. You could put it on. You could put it in the books. I'll be between 450 and 500 this year.
Sam, with the way Red pitches, there's going to be a lot of ground balls, very hard to third base. Do you think you could handle that position?
I think I can. I've done it in the past. I played third in the past, and I really like our team. I like exactly how Nathan put together the outfield. I played on an outfield last year where, the ball just kept going and going and going, and it's nice to have a veteran outfield, and I think we're solid in every position. I really do, and I'm just trying to be low key. I'm not trying to be, a live this year. I just want to be low key. I just want to do whatever it takes to win, and whether I have to play third, catch, short center, sit out a game, bat a game, I could care. I just want to do it. I just want to help my team.
You sound like you sound like you
hypnotized.
No, you watched reruns of Tim Tebow's press conference, and there's a new you.
Well, yeah, I don't know if it's the new me. I just think we have to just do it for a couple of months. It's okay. I'll do it.
It sounds like Nathan Towell and Jack Haddon locked you in a room somewhere and said not to say anything to the press or something.
Well, it's, when there's a few guys on my team that are a little older than me, and it's nice to not be the oldest guy on the team. So I have guys I have to look up to and respect. So I have an image to protect, and I'm just on a new leaf. Whether you call it just being a gentleman, or whether you call it just trying to do what's best to help my team, I just don't want to have any conflicts this year. Right. You keep not allowing Sharma in the league, and I got a chance to be a gentleman.
I'm sure you're happy that Nathan made a trade to pick up your buddy Stefan Batesh.
How many future first round considerations we have to give up to get it? Just curious.
You gave up a first round 2014 and 15, so yeah, he thinks highly of him.
He's actually not a bad player.
We know that. He's a good hitter.
He's a very good hitter, as long as there's nobody having to pitch. And he's actually a pretty decent hitter. He really is. And he's got a good baseball fundamentals, very high baseball IQ, like the rest of our team. By the way, Saban, kudos to you. I like the team you picked a lot. A lot.
Thank you.
All right, Sammy, we're looking forward to seeing you this upcoming season, and good luck with Dallas, too. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you for having me on the air.
All right, thank you.
Wow, I don't know if that's the guy that was trying to imitate you last year.
No, this is I'm actually speechless.
That's crazy.
Usually there's heavy conflict and a lot of craziness going on, and this guy was so toned down that you would think that there's something mentally wrong with him.
And maybe there is.
Well, he's got the image of that team is not not really
right.
He don't make noise.
Right, exactly.
I think Nathan's team is going to be a very solid team. A very key player on that team, I think, that's unheralded is Ben Kane, who is a very good catcher and second baseman, and a very hard-nosed player. And I think that was a great pick up by him. And Braca went very late, 5th, 6th round.
I heard Braca went crazy, from where he was picked. Rumor has it he was going nuts, screaming, everyone thinks I'm a scrub, everyone thinks I'm worthless.
Wow.
Well, Braca also said he was playing first base, which your stock is going to go a little lower when you make that statement. But now I think
why is he playing first? Why doesn't he want to play short center?
Maybe he feels he doesn't have the range anymore to cover, or I think he'd be a very good first baseman. But they have too much congestion in that area between Asher and Rishti and Braca and There's Charles Harary, rookie's also first baseman, so it's going to be
Charles
interesting.
Harary, Jack. Oh, that's not Jackie's son. That's,
No, so it's going to be interesting to see how he puts
Charles-
it
Center
together.
field is Charles Haddad. Is that what's going
Yes.
on? And then Nathan's in left,
And Jack had it in right.
and Jack Haddad in
The
right.
outfield's very solid.
Okay, shortstop is Hank.
Hank, yeah.
We just got in a tweet from one of my cast of characters, Eddie Hakeem, claiming that Red should have been drafted in the 13th round.
No love lost between Hakeem and Red, that's for sure. I like Nathan's team. Again, and if anybody knows Red, okay, if there's anybody he loves more than Chachi and Hulk Hogan, it's Jack Haddad. That's his all-time favorite. So he's gonna
Interesting,
have
I didn't know
extra-
that.
Yes, he's gonna have extra 10 miles an hour on his fastball for sure this year. And as
think
Red
that'll
goes,
get it to
he's
10.
gonna go.
Do you think Jackie would get offended if I started making jokes to Red during the game about Jackie?
I think you gotta.
It seems like Jack Haddad's presence on this team changed Sammy Insane.
Yeah.
Just
Has Saban questioning if he could trash talk the Red.
right. Like I mean, you know, but you know what? You get a veteran like that coming back after all these years. You don't want him to leave thinking, "Wow, the league was better 20 years ago." You know.
We gotta all be at our best behavior.
Exactly. I mean, I may make my team wear tuxedos a week later.
So anyway, I think
We may
that,
parlay that into an Allie Marshall wedding or something, you know?
so I also like Red's team, Nathan's team. So what do you feel about them? Do you think it's a playoff team or it's?
Yeah, I couldn't believe how low Red dropped. I know he's not a top pitcher, but you know he's not that bad. Where he's an 11th round pick. They have a very good outfield.
And a great lineup, by the way. David Richtie, they
Nathan
traded
almost
to-
won the MVP last
Yeah.
year, by the way.
I mean, look at Nathan, Jack Haddad, Henry, David Bracker, Richtie, Asher, Charles Haddad. I mean, all these guys could hit. Asher,
Henry, you're forgetting Henry.
Yeah,
the star.
I mean-
right, Henry's the star of the whole team.
Great lineup.
It's definitely a solid team. There's definitely a couple of question marks about the team.
Well, Charles Haddad,
yeah,
the second round pick, is the biggest center
Well,
field.
no, I mean, the big question mark, number one, it's not a question mark, it's the age. I mean, I'm sure Jackie was great, and I'm sure he's still going to be very good. But after 20 years, do you, at whatever age he is, do you just have it still? Or does it take a year or two to get back? And then you got, like you said, that congestion of, you know, Braca
Right.
and Asher and Richtie. I mean, these guys are not 22 anymore.
No.
They're, you know, closer to 42. And
It's a
I mean,
very,
they're still
very
all
old
very
team,
good,
by the
but
way.
they're a little older. But the combo of Red pitching and Sammy Insane Sutton at third, do you honestly see that going deep into the playoffs?
I don't see that. I don't see Sammy Insane playing third to 3-4 weeks into the season. They're
Well,
gonna
I
have to
don't-
make
I don't
a
even see
trade.
no- yeah,
I
change.
I
don't see
see
an alternate.
either Richtie or Asher possibly moving to third.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a better move, but I'm
Right,
saying
but that's what
yeah.
you have to deal with, and that was probably the mistake they made by trading A.B. Cohen, or A.B. Dweck, rather, because he could have been a third baseman, and they
Right.
could have been very solid all around.
Yeah.
Even though Richtie's probably a better all-around player.
Yeah, no, Richtie's a great hitter.
By the way,
Great-
third base is not a lot of range, but you got to field everything.
Yeah,
Is
it
it
comes up-
possible?
It comes very hard.
Right. So is it possible that Braca could play third?
No, if he couldn't play shortstop, which gives you, I mean, short center, which would give you an extra 30 feet of room.
And again, you deal with a lefty playing third, which you know you got to swing the body. It's not.
Not just that.
Oh,
Bracke's
yeah.
arm is absolutely horrendous. I mean, the guy, he made a lot of plays. I played with him a couple years ago, and I don't know. I mean, he couldn't throw from short center. I mean, he was atrocious.
They have a serious problem at third base. Every ball
You know,
goes to third.
I felt that the draft,
Especially
Nathan,
with Red.
Nathan made a big mistake not drafting Michael Fallis in the 11th round, where he could have get a third baseman. You know, in an emergency situation, played third his whole life. he picked
and he probably could have renamed the team Ben Gay, because adding Fallis and Sammy Sutton, you have the Ben Gay, the muscle rub for the old guys, and the gay factor with Sammy Sutton.
But really, you take away Charles Harary and Charles Haddad and Ben Kane, the rest of the team's 40 years old and over. So
it's rookies and vets. No,
so really
in the league 4 years.
Again, it's a lot of question marks with that team, but it could be very good. It could be mediocre. So it's going to be interesting. The next team is JT's Twins, and this is a very interesting team. A lot of question marks, and now you come into pitching with Moses as probably number one pitcher, along with Meyer Safdie, and I don't know if that's going to be good enough. And I thought he made a very a questionable pick with Jimmy Malak in the second round.
Yeah,
I don't think the guy has a position where he should be taken that high. No, I don't care how good his bat is. I think third base. He's not a good third baseman. He's not a great fielder. I think he should have got with a better pick. But his bat is definitely warranted. And they claim he's playing third. Eddie Michon's playing short. He's been an all-star second baseman the last couple of years. So the left side is a little shaky right now, right off the bat.
I think it's very shaky. I think he struggled in the draft a lot. There were a few picks I didn't like in this draft, starting with Jimmy Malak, who's a great hitter. But like you said, no real position. And in this league, shortstop and third base is like 75% of every ball that's hit. So I don't. The pitching is Moses and Meyer. Again, especially like the same thing that you said with Red. When you have a pitcher like that, you need a solid third base. You need a top third baseman when you have a slow pitcher.
Right.
So it's not like you have. Fireball or pitching, and then maybe third base is not as important. This team, I don't know. I don't love this team, to tell you the truth, and I think this team's in trouble. Steal of the draft, however, was made by this team. Norman Gaz-Jamal, who batted like 600 last year,
right?
Who fields every ball that comes his way since he's born. Again, dropped to like the 8th round or something like that again.
Later. Yeah.
Maybe later, maybe 9th.
They did make a great pick with rookie Edward Benjamin, who's a great fielding outfielder. And that should help. And Labo also went in the 9th, 10th round. It's a great bat to get in that round. He has a lot of question marks. Sonny Natkin, supposedly very talented, also first baseman. David Harary, a great bat. So this team could has some power as some hitters. I think eventually, Meyer Safdie could get this full-time gig as a pitcher, and I don't think he's going to be that bad.
Well, Saban was the first one to make the move of benching Moses after 30 years. Moses won a few times, I believe, right? Didn't he go on a little streak a few years ago? But then as he declined, no one made the move to put him on the bench. Yeah. And Saban did that last year. He may be back there this year again.
Okay. Well, you were, were in the Cactus League, and you saw Moses in Tucson. You told me he actually looked a little trim.
He looked very trim.
He's right. I did get.
He bought a new white shirt.
I got reports in the off season that he cut down to about 625, and the traditional seat are now actually fitting. But you know what? Let me just make a statement about this team. My second round pick of Max was never intended to be Max. It was actually Jimmy all along. I really wanted him. I believe in the guy. I think he's great. I played with him in other leagues and everything, and he's a good friend of mine. I wasn't even thinking Max, and I had really no idea that he was going to fall to me because, to tell you the truth, I thought Jimmy was going to be there for the end of the second round pick, and that's who I was planning on. And then when it didn't happen, I had to decide between Max and Soli and a few other guys. So I did get that pick, but Jimmy, I have to say, is a great player, and but there will be a struggle having Moses. I mean, forget about it. I had to deal with that last year, and if I could turn back the clock and blow my own brains out, I probably would do that because that's how tough it was.
Considering how your team, the bats that you have. I don't think you would make that trade right now. If he offered you Jimmy for Max right now, you have a shortstop.
Right. Head to head, I would make him pay. Meaning, I would have been very happy getting Jimmy in the draft because that's who I had my mind and heart set on. But now that I also got intel that a former defector, Ike Mavora, who's captaining the Special Olympic team in Brooklyn, was the one to tell Jackie Towell to block the draft of Jimmy going to my team because he thought he'd get Jimmy and Max on the rebound because he looked at the chart and saw that shortstops were all taken. So with that being said, I think Jackie did regret it because he has reached out to me multiple times looking for deals.
Mavora was a disaster not joining the league this year. One and done. I thought it showed a lot about him that he came here, he failed miserably on that train wreck of a team, and then ran back to Brooklyn. So I guess he'll be, a big fish in a small pond. Instead of competing, where he didn't even make the playoffs last year.
Right, he could have came here and been this year he probably would have been a third or fourth pick of the draft.
Yeah.
Easily the best pitcher in the draft because he's a great bat too. But now he's going to be technically, linked to those guys as the Moses of his league.
Yeah.
Right around there.
All right, let's not focus on the minor leagues anymore. Let's get back to the majors. And right now we're going to take a commercial break and then we'll have more phone calls.